Okay, everybody, welcome to the show. Our goal today is, first of all, we're going to scroll through my Week 4 Standard League ranks as of Wednesday afternoon. Of course, for the latest in all things rank-related, go to harrisfootball.com. I will update there throughout the week as we get news about who is and isn't playing in Week 4. And then as we do that scrolling, I also like to break down some film of interesting players maybe you're thinking about starting, and maybe also players whose values in season-long leagues are a subject of interest. I've got one running back. I've got one wide receiver for you today. I'm going to start with Marlon Mack, who has been a fun revelation so far in 2019. So in my mind, this run from last year was the platonic ideal of a good Marlon Mack run. The Colts had a tendency to encourage him to bounce runs outside because he can do that, because he's good at it. If we rewind this play and watch from the end zone angle, you'll see the center and right guard double team a defensive tackle, and then the key will be that the right tackle and the slot receiver are going to block down. So right at the snap, you'll see the Cowboys defensive end take an inside technique, and if we freeze it right as Mack gets the ball, that leaves middle linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, number 55, standing in the hole. Everything is made to be mushed into the center. If Vander Esch isn't standing there for some reason, sure, Marlon, go ahead, charge up the middle. But clearly, with the slot receiver blocking down, Mack is being encouraged to bounce. And bounce he does, and in this case, it worked great. But sometimes if the instinct is to always go outside, we get bottled up, and it can lead to inconsistent results. Here's a run against the Jets from last year that goes for a yard. Listen, it's easy to cherry pick a 1-yard gain and say, see, he bounces too much. But it is a good example. If we go back to that end zone view again, right at the handoff, you'll see what Mack sees, which is, once again, middle linebackers ready to get him if he takes it up in the middle hard there. But he does have a chance to hit it hard. Instead, he follows the receiver who was in motion and goes left, and Mack goes to see what he can get that's blocked on the outside and doesn't get blocked very well. What was missing from Mack's game, I thought, was that willingness to turn it up into traffic. And we'll come back in a second, and we'll look at a few plays from 2019. Hey, we are sponsored by BetDSI. If you've thought about trying to find a place to play the point spreads, BetDSI is where I have an account. I have for more than 4 years. It's great. It works. It's always there with a mobile-friendly site that helps you make a wager whenever you sit down to watch a game. I'll tell you, for me, even just putting down $5 makes a game more fun to root for if I don't have a natural rooting interest. We have 2 promo codes for you. If you're a frequent player, use the promo code HarrisTube. They'll match 100% of your deposit. If you'd rather make a couple of bets and then maybe cash out, use the code HarrisTube5. They'll match 5% with no extra volume requirements to cash out. Either way, betdsi.com. What I see more from Marlon Mack this season is patience, a willingness to stick with a play longer, and a willingness to trust his quickness and his acceleration in tight quarters. So what's obvious from this play last week against the Falcons is, first of all, different quarterback, but similar kind of run. And when Mack plants his left foot, he's got a choice. He could bounce left. He could cut it up right, where he sees another middle linebacker, there's another one, standing there ready to get him. But this time, the jump cut. He goes straight, he cuts, Devondre Campbell can't get him. It's only a 5-yard gain, but it's the kind of play likelier to break big because fewer players will have an angle on you if you break loose early in a play. It sure helps when he's decisive. It's a very good offensive line. This one, you'll see the left guard and the tight end pull around to the right. This is a variation on the counter tray, and Mack could follow around to the right. That's Jack Doyle. But he sees a crease and he goes. This is what we want. We know when he gets in the open field, he's straight line fast. But let's see him take the easy money and get in a rhythm. And then big plays do happen this way. Break a tackle, get in the clear early in the play. Longer runs, Dalvin Cook style runs, are likelier. And just as a counterexample of something you still sometimes see, here's one against the Titans this year. And you don't need me to tell you, Marlon Mack doesn't need me to tell him what goes wrong on this play. This is sort of exactly what scouts mean when they criticize a back for bad vision or for not being decisive. When you see a player cutting in air, I mean, there's a huge obvious hole there, but Mack is busy jump cutting at nothing. In the past, we saw more of this, and this kind of maneuver would tend to lead to unneeded bounces to the outside. But overall, much less of that in 2019, and I think in part that has led to more consistency and more success. Dare I say, Marlon Mack has turned into at least kind of a physical runner, much to his benefit. In my Week 4 ranks, I've got him number 8 among running backs. I really like that Raiders matchup, and a couple of teams are on bye. And for the rest of the season, I have Mack at RB13. Really good weekly upside, a relatively safe weekly floor if he stays healthy. Not a super elite player, but good and getting better. Next, let's talk about Terry McLaurin, rookie Washington receiver. Listen, he scored a touchdown in each game so far. I had Liz Loza on my podcast Wednesday say that McLaurin is her number 13 wideout for Week 4. That is quite a bit more aggressive than I'm willing to get, but facts are facts. He is a top 10 fantasy receiver at this point. This Week 1 play to get a 17-0 lead that they'd eventually blow is part of that. If we go back and watch this play from the press box, we'll see McLaurin lined up on the offensive left side. And this is zero coverage from the Eagles, which means check out the middle of that defensive backfield, no safeties, straight man-to-man. And it's possible that Rasul Douglas didn't get the memo that that was the play call, or else didn't think Case Keenum would take his shot. But McLaurin shows legit deep speed here, and Douglas doesn't seem to be running fast at first, and then he obviously goes whoops. And there's a message delivered here. Zero coverage, probably not going to be advisable against this kid. Against the Cowboys, he's on the offensive left side again. It looks like press man, but the corner backs off at the snap, but it's still man, and that's a good corner. That's Byron Jones. And when McLaurin has Jones running full tilt, he rounds off a cut, obviously keeps up his speed, and surprises Jones, who can't quite react quickly enough. And really, this is about the throw. That is a very good deep in-cut throw into a tight window. But there's lots to like about McLaurin showing that he's a legit speed weapon that people now have to worry about, and also that he just knows where he's supposed to go. But just as important as McLaurin being fast is that he's showing smarts and good ball skills. This is one of my favorite catches of his so far. Now he's offensive right side. This is one-on-one with Ronald Darby, and if we go slowly, we can see Darby's right with McLaurin. He's running stride for stride, respecting the speed. But McLaurin knows that Keenum, as you can see, has already let the ball go. That means it is a back shoulder kind of sight adjust where the quarterback sees the defensive back sprinting and sees the defensive back's head turn the other way, so he lets it go short, trusting that McLaurin will also make the same adjustment, which is crucial. They need to be on the same page, which McLaurin, in this case, like a veteran, does do. He slows down, he powers down, adjusts his body, so he's in front of Darby, and he goes up and makes a contested catch. There's a ton to like on film already from this rookie. Now, why am I not quite falling for the borderline wide receiver 1 rank this week, even against a Giants defense that has allowed free runners galore? I'll give you 2 graphics. The first one represents Terry McLaurin's pace. Both McLaurin and Marquise Brown are on pace for historic rookie yardage seasons. At this pace, they'd be the number 1 and number 3 rookie receivers in the history of the league post-merger. I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably not going to happen. And then I'll also show you this graphic. To me, this indicates that there's some blood on McLaurin's numbers. A lot of, as we say it in the podcast, basura time. McLaurin really has the one big touchdown against the Eagles. We showed you when Washington was ahead, was competitive in a game, and otherwise his production has come at the end of blowouts. I guess we can point to the Bears and the Cowboy games and say, see, he scored a touchdown. Against Dallas, it was 31-14 with 2:20 left in the game. Against Chicago, it was 28-9 with 6 minutes left. We'll take it. And listen, the Giants have been awful against the pass. Janoris Jenkins got wrecked by Mike Evans last week. Maybe this is a massive blow-up spot for McLaurin. Again, it could be, and with a player like this, all it takes is one deep shot. I hope it is. He's a super deep sleeper of mine. He makes me look smart when he plays well. But I have the brakes applied a little bit, just trying to have reasonable expectations. McLaurin, with that quarterback And that offense, for me, is a high upside wide receiver 3 with great room to grow because he's fast. He's done some terrific things. He's number 33 on my receiver list this week. Lots of hope, lots of upside, but probably we're going to get some stinkers thrown in. Just that's what rookie receivers do. But what do you think? Tell us down in the comments. How high could you get McLaurin in your week 4 ranks? Who are you considering starting him over? I want to know, and we want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.